Hiro is a middle-class man who buys a new house for his family, but they don't appreciate his efforts and complain that it's smaller than all the nearby houses. He brings sushi home to celebrate, but his family refuses to eat takeout and goes to a restaurant without him, leaving Ichiro to enjoy the celebration alone. At work, his boss criticizes his new project involving energy drinks, which is causing the company to lose significant money. Ichiro apologizes publicly while his manager yells at him in front of his coworkers. After a difficult day, he heads home and witnesses thugs robbing a man who resembles him. Ichiro turns away in fear, but his daughter spots him and accuses him of being a coward. While sitting outside his house, Ichiro notices a stray dog abandoned by its owner walking toward him. The dog's name is Hanako, and Ichiro immediately feels a connection with her. His wife sees him with the dog and orders him to get rid of her. She hands him a report from his recent medical examination, which indicates he needs further testing. Ichiro receives devastating news from his doctor. He is staged for cancer and only about 3 months left to live. He attempts to call his wife, but she ignores him. He calls his daughter, but she also ignores his call. During dinner, he tries to share his medical condition with his family, but they are too absorbed in their own concerns and continue blaming him for every minor issue. His wife demands he get rid of the dog, completely unaware of the pain in his eyes. Ichiro takes Hanako out into the streets and wonders whether his family will even cry for him after hearing the terrible news. He apologizes to Hanako and tries to leave her behind, but she continues to follow him everywhere. After failing to abandon his loyal companion, Ichiro realizes that Hanako is the only being in the world who truly cares about him, and he apologizes profusely for attempting to leave her. He notices another man named Hiro sitting alone in the park, appearing deep in thought. Both of them look up as they see a bright light heading their way. An object strikes them with incredible speed, and Ichiro loses consciousness, while strange creatures surround him as Hanako barks continuously. He wakes up the next morning to find his dog beside him and, surprisingly, discovers that his vision has been perfectly restored without his glasses. Ichiro goes home for breakfast, but finds that he cannot taste any of the food and feels extremely thirsty even after drinking water from the fountain. He enters his room and notices smoke coming from his left hand, which then transforms into a large rifle and shoots out what appears to be the soup he drank earlier. His entire body begins transforming, with mechanical parts revealing themselves underneath his skin. Ichiro manages to compose himself just as his wife walks into the room. It turns out that Ichiro's daughter, Mary, attends the same class as Hiro, the man who was with Ichiro the previous night. Hiro visits his friend Chako and decides to demonstrate the power he obtained from the encounter by shooting a bird from a distance using only his fingers. He then takes Chako to an underground parking lot, where he showcases his ability to control cars with his mind and reveals his mechanical body underneath his skin. Meanwhile, Ichiro leaves work and notices an injured pigeon on the ground. He holds the animal with compassion and, surprisingly, heals it completely, allowing it to fly again. He hears another voice of suffering from afar and quickly arrives at a hospital where a young boy is close to dying from a terminal illness. Ichiro places his hand on the boy and successfully restores him to health, just as he did with the pigeon. Seeing the mother reunite with her son, he leaves in happiness, knowing he has saved someone's life. On the other side, Hiro brings Chako to the bullies and demands they apologize and return the money they took. He grabs one of the bully's arms and hurts him until he gets exactly what he wants. Hiro points his finger toward the man, and just before he kills him, Chako stops him, telling him it's enough. His apparent bravery catches the attention of a girl named Cheyenne, who confesses her feelings to him in the hallway. Hiro thanks her for the compliments and walks away with a smile. We learn that Hiro's mother is divorced because his father left her for another woman. Despite being betrayed by her ex-husband, she still cares about his health and wants Hiro to spend time with his father. Hiro visits their house and has dinner with his father's new family, but their happiness only infuriates him from within, as he believes that happiness was stolen from his mother. While playing with his half-brother, Hiro points his finger toward the family and hesitates about pulling the trigger. He eventually stops as he looks at his father and realizes he still cares for the man despite everything he has done. Hiro walks home alone and hears the sounds of happiness coming from nearby families. He breaks into one of the houses and proceeds to shoot everyone inside. Ichiro senses this from a hospital after saving more people and rushes to the house, where he finds a young girl with a bullet hole in her head. He tries to save her with his power but realizes it only works on living creatures. He walks into the living room and sees Hiro standing over the dead bodies. Ichiro recognizes the man from the park earlier, but Hiro attacks him and sends him flying before he can say a word. Ichiro recovers unharmed and rushes out of the house, only to see Hiro flying off into the distance. Chako meets with Hiro and suspects his friend is responsible for the murders that occurred the previous night, since all the victims died from gunshots with no bullets found. Hiro admits to killing the family, but justifies his actions by claiming he is now a god. He argues that strangers die every day regardless, and they shouldn't feel sorry for people they don't even know. Chako refuses to accept this and backs away in fear. He tells Hiro they can no longer be friends and runs away from the murderer. Hiro goes home to his mother and is surprised when she tells him he must live with his father from now on. She explains that she has inoperable cancer and the doctors have told her she won't live much longer. Hiro embraces his mother and cries while swearing he would never allow her to die. Ichiro goes home and informs his family that he has been demoted by the company. His wife yells at him, worrying about their mortgage, while his daughter becomes angry at his incompetence. Ichiro laments his inability to protect his own family and doubts whether he can stop the murders and help others. Suddenly, he hears Chako's voice, praying that someone can stop his best friend from killing more people. Ichiro realizes he must stop doubting himself and resolves to use his powers to stop Hiro from murdering others. He transforms into his robot form and flies toward the sky while carrying Hanako with him. Ichiro arrives at the park and meets Chako. They discuss what happened that night, and Chako speculates that aliens must have reconstructed both Ichiro and Hiro. He believes they both possess the same abilities and decides to train Ichiro based on what he has seen Hiro do. They go to a junkyard, and Ichiro attempts to shoot a tin can with his hand. It becomes clear that the old man has extensive training ahead of him before he can come close to matching his rival. On the other side, Hiro accompanies his mother to the doctor, only to discover that the cancer has completely disappeared from her body, most likely due to her son healing her with his powers. They walk home together, and Hiro tries to convince his mother to enjoy life and go on vacations. He promises to make her happy, as her life has been difficult from the beginning. Their happiness doesn't last, however, when they're visited by a group of police officers demanding to question Hiro about the murders. He runs off immediately while his mother screams his name. Hiro tosses the police officers around like ragdolls and sprints into the parking lot. He uses his powers to kill 3 of the officers, while others fire at him with no effect. Hiro jumps down from the stairway and proceeds to fly away from the area. The news of his escape spreads quickly through the media, and Hiro becomes a fugitive with nowhere to hide. Fortunately, he runs into Cheyenne, who decides to take him in despite his current status. We learn that Cheyenne lives with her grandmother, the only relative she has left. Her parents died of illness years ago, and she doesn't believe she can live long either. Meanwhile, Ichiro finally makes some progress on his training but becomes tired easily from all the exertion. He becomes thirsty again and drinks the energy drink from his company. Chako speculates that water must fuel their bodies, as they become very thirsty after using their weapons. Ichiro begins feeling pain in his body and shoots out the liquid, just as he did previously with the soup. Chako quickly realizes that sodium content may be causing his body to malfunction and that they may be able to use this to their advantage later. At night, Hiro watches the news about his mother and sees that everyone is blaming her for what her son did. She apologizes repeatedly, but receives no sympathy from anyone. He falls into tears, realizing that the crimes he committed are now being paid for by the person he loves most in the world. The news then reports that his mother has been found dead in her apartment. She killed herself after being pressured by the media. Hiro goes into shock at this realization. He begins reading the comments on the video and sees everyone cursing his mother's name. Hiro becomes enraged and uses his powers to hack into the commenters' computers. He begins shooting everyone through their screens, causing widespread mortality across the nation as people fall dead after looking at their devices. Cheyenne finds Hiro unable to sleep at night and tries to comfort him, but he tells her he is responsible for killing all those people. He transforms in front of her and tries to scare her away, but she refuses to believe the man she loves is a killer. Hiro rushes her outside and takes her to the sky, asking Cheyenne if this frightens her, but the only thing she is scared of is him leaving. He realizes she is the only person left in this world who cares about him and promises to protect her and stay with her forever. Hiro finally falls asleep, and Cheyenne smiles, saying he is very human after all. She goes to the kitchen and senses something beside her. Cheyenne turns around to see an army of soldiers pointing their guns at her. Hiro sees this and grabs her immediately while the soldiers fire continuously at his body. He turns around and retaliates with fury, killing every one of them. When everything settles, he notices that Cheyenne is already dead with multiple gun wounds on her body. Hiro cries at her death and resolves to kill everyone in the country. Ichiro sees the news reports about the recent murders and warns his family to turn off their phones, but none of them listen and proceed to go out despite the dangers. Mary meets up with her friends, and they climb to the top of a high-rise to enjoy the scenery. Hiro begins broadcasting himself on every network and announces his intentions to destroy the country in order to avenge his family. No one takes him seriously until he begins shooting at the masses, and people start dropping dead everywhere. Everyone panics and runs in chaos, but there is nowhere to hide from his attacks. Ichiro transforms his arm into a rifle and shoots numerous projectiles at Hiro, sending him flying toward Earth with the explosions. Ichiro flies toward the building where his daughter is and sees Mary lying motionless on the ground. He tries everything to resurrect her and manages to bring back her breath. They embrace each other as tears fall from the old man's eyes. Suddenly, he gets kicked from the side, sending him flying into the walls. It turns out that Hiro survived the fall from earlier and has returned to take his vengeance. He learns that Mary is the old man's daughter and begins attacking her, shooting her stomach as Ichiro interferes. Hiro punches the old man around like a ragdoll and continues to beat him in front of his daughter. He grabs Mary and takes her to the edge of the building. Hiro wants Ichiro to experience the same despair he feels every moment and throws the daughter off the building. Seeing his family about to die, Ichiro charges all his energy and flies toward Hiro. He crashes into the man and breaks off his arm while flying toward his daughter. Ichiro charges downward and sees that Mary is still falling. He reaches out to the girl and manages to catch her right before hitting the ground. Mary wakes up after being healed by her father and realizes that her old man is a superhero. She sees him fly off as he rushes to save as many people as he can. Although the government has confirmed Hiro's death, they haven't actually found his body, only shards of metal of unknown origins. Ichiro continues to have dinner with his family as if everything is normal, but his daughter now sees that her father is a true hero. Chako goes home and is surprised to see that Hiro is still alive but missing an arm after the fight. He is glad to see that his friend didn't die and offers him the newest video game. Chako turns around after finding the game, only to see that Hiro has already left, knowing that his presence would only endanger his best friend. So that's the film. What are your thoughts? Drop a comment and let me know. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. I'll see you in the next one.